Kevin Blanch, we're here on the University of Utah campus. They'll be calling you a radical at Romney, and this is a Bernie supporter who was in the speech. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Paul Zimmerman from Park City, and I was astonished, being a Bernie supporter who's a Democratic socialist. I thought Mitt Romney was brilliant. I mean, he nailed the Trump phenomenon, so good for him. But it's telltale that Mitt was unable, and I say this with true empathy, it was telltale that Mitt could not endorse any Republicans. And from my point of view, Trump really isn't the problem per se, as he is the metaphor of a cultural problem. How do you have millions upon millions of people who confuse Donald Trump with a philosopher? But that's the state of...
Well, he does talk tariffs, you know, at Hamilton, but he... And, you know, Karl Rove, the whole Karl Rove thesis, who blew up the Republican Party, everybody said he was a genius, but let's get real, Karl Rove never won anything. Bush never won, either time. And so do you think maybe that was BYU Law, Mike Lee, and the whole, you know, Alito and the whole cabal that blew up the Republican Party and the Bushes and here at the Hinckley Institute?
Well, yeah, they're trying to say, I don't agree that Trump is the reason why the Republicans have a civil war. You could argue that was Bush and Cheney and even Romney, and I respect what he said today, but Mitt wasn't able to save the Republican Party either, which is really the Tea Party now.
Yeah. But they were the wars and everything, but same with the DNC too. We know how captured the Clintons have gotten the DNC. So this evolution for 30 years, and, you know, of course the internet, so the RNC gets blown up. Now, obviously, this speech proves it. And the DNC is just on the verge of being blown up. Bernie, look at Bernie's crowd. So the so-called per se Democrat, they understand just as much, but for some reason he doesn't get the wins, Bernie. I mean, you think about it, really, Bernie's an independent, and so really is Trump. I mean, to call him a socialist is so wrong, I think. Well, what they've turned as far as a socialist.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I've spent some time in Scandinavia, and there's no confusing Denmark, although even the Democrats do. I mean, the word socialist is an unfortunate, highly misunderstood word.
Well, I'm a professor, and I teach economics. This is my subject here. And, well, as a weaver for all those years, and like I said, I mean, what they've done to the language, communist socialism, you know, is obscene. Really, this military-industrialized complex, the redistribution of wealth is the redistribution of wealth. You know, it just goes to the military where the redistribution goes. We're the most redistribution of wealth people on the face of the earth in the history of Earth. So it's where it goes. Where, like I said, I spent a lot of my life in Copenhagen and Indiana. Look where theirs goes. So they've captured those terms. He's a socialist, and they've bought into it.
Well, they're confusing.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, pleasure to meet you too. Good luck to you. You know, they can't distinguish in this country a Hugo Chavez or the Castro brothers from the people who run Sweden and Denmark or Bernie Sanders.
Well, you know that
it's democratic socialism. A better way of using the concept. It's humanistic capitalism.
Well, who do you think Ted Cruz is? Ted Cruz's father fled Castro's regime. Ted Cruz's father's the CIA as they get. That's common law, common knowledge. You know, so they go to him, but, you know, because he's got a little bit of brown blood, you know, and so they're panicking on the demographic. But my thoughts on the Mormon Church and the whole Republican apparatus, they just doubled down on their freaking, I call it the white boys hair club for man. And they just kept doubling down instead of pivoting their party. And this is the byproduct of not pivoting the party.
The Republican, it's not the Republican Party anymore.
No.
It just isn't. And what I'm hoping is that we're going to have two parties come out of this additionally. Like maybe a Green Party. I don't know what Sanders could call his party, the Progressive Party.
Bull Moose 2.0.
But, you know, maybe the people who support Ted Cruz should just call themselves the Tea Party. Yeah. And okay, fine, it's democracy. But even our Bernie Sanders supporter thinks we need to get a Republican Party back into the system, and we don't have one.
The Whig Party. What was the Whig Party called before it was called the Whig Party?
The Know Nothing Party.
The Anti-Mason Party.
Oh.
The Anti-Masonic. Miller Fillmore ran on the Anti-Masonic and was elected. You know, so we know how the evolution of political theater goes, and it's happening right here. And this is an historic speech. Now, by the way, I keep track of the Eagles out there. I'm an environmentalist. And so, you know how many eagles returned to Farmington Bay this year, and nobody's even reporting this?
Yeah.
8. Between 5 and 800. 55 last year. Yet our media won't talk about it as the so-called environmentalists. Where are our environmentalists?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of them were at speech over there at Spencer Hall yesterday because Bob Bishop and
Rob or Bob?
I'm new enough where you tell me.
Rob.
Representative Rob
He's a
Bishop.
scumbag.
It was shocking to me to learn how they're doing their best to steal public lands and turn it over to questionable capitalism.
Well, you do know about him killing himself yesterday. Aubrey McClellan committed suicide yesterday. That's the fracker.
What?
Aubrey McClellan committed suicide yesterday. He got charged by the Justice Department the day before for, you know, Tim DeChristopher, what he did. He got charged for fixing oil leases. This is the king fracker, Chesapeake Oil. And he was charged the day before. He drove his car in Oklahoma into the wall and committed suicide yesterday. He's Dick Cheney's baby, which is that Rob Bishop and these guys are bots. Rob Bishop's the next high school teacher from Ben Lomond High School. He's just a puppet.
Of course he is, and that's why people need to, you know, just give a listen to Bernie Sanders because Bishop represents the corruption, not just in Utah but in the whole political
people don't even know who he is
of the country. Yeah, it's sad. So,
well, you know, we're anti-nuclear activists, our group, so every one of these candidates have been asked on their stance on nuclear. Only one has said no, it needs to go, which is the only logical thing. Bernie Sanders. So I'll leave it at that before I run out of time, but pleasure.
Tell me your name again.
My name's Kevin Blanch. My gig's called Post Ignorance.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.